Hello there, YouTubers. It's the 7th of January, year 2025. Didn't really expect to film my very first video in year 2025 using my archaic iPad again, though I don't really tend to use this device of mine to film videos that often. Anyway, so well, long story short, I just I'm currently suffering from a bit of insomnia, and thinking some random thoughts or ruminating about some thoughts, not exactly random, but just lots of thoughts, lots of worries and concerns, though I suppose largely I've kept them at bay so far as best as I could, though still OCD and sometimes panic, not exactly panic attacks, but anxiety attacks, coupled with tachycardia, and sometimes mitral regurgitation can get the best of me by disrupting my hard-earned circadian rhythm. And as a matter of fact, I am again in the midst of trying quite hard to reset my circadian rhythm again as a result of my banging my sex doll about 2 or 3 days ago, until very late, say nearly until dawn, though I kind of could have wrapped it up way earlier than that, by abstaining from browsing and fapping, what sort of materials and contents on the internet, yeah. And but well before that, my circadian rhythm had already got severely eroded or compromised. So I can't really lay all the blames on the mere on the mere fact of banging my sex doll and blah blah blah. So yeah, I just still on in the middle of deciding whether I should head to Thailand instead of Lake Baikal in Russia, during this winter. Well, since there are, I do. Well, since I do, I do kind of perceive a few perks or benefits of paying Thailand a visit, since I can stay in Thailand visa free for at least 60 days. Well, and theoretically I can even extend my stay in Thailand for to up to 90, even 180 days in a single year. Well, but that's theoretically speaking. In theory, in theory only. I haven't really you know practiced. I haven't really put that into practice yet. I haven't really put such plan in actual motion yet. While in Thailand, and while and by actually booking a flight and a bunch of hotels, to Thailand and in Thailand. Yeah. So yeah, but I reckon I may have to do so sooner or later, since I there are plenty of tasks that I scheduled to wrap up, to accomplish. Um, you know, in my planned in my planned business trip to Japan previously, or I should say recently, though it, I like I said, I got cancelled, due to some other, some, you know, reasons, which I suppose I can kind of guess and speculate why, and I won't go into too much details as to why I suppose I got cancelled by Japan again for the second time. Um, During this filming session, since I would like to keep it as you know um, brief as I can. I don't want to occupy too much of storage space. I don't want to occupy too much of storage space of my archaic iPad. Um, so yeah, but I suppose it may have something to do with my the sponsor. One of the sponsors of my application, which was my old man's company in China. Since it's due to a series of some stupid and reckless maneuvers allegedly um, performed by that wicked woman back then. A couple of years ago, the company, my old specifically my old man's company ran into some troubles, some legal disputes, and probably or possibly the embassy of Japan in Peking may have found out, and plus I do not really have a pension plan here in China. I did not enroll a pension plan in China, and I unfortunately I had to declare that to the embassy in my application, so to speak, and I suppose that could be two of the main reasons why they decided against issuing me a business visa with single entry only, but with a rather extended stay of a period of up to 90 days, you know. Um, and yes, back to the you know the talks about the new developments and progression of my OCDs. I uh, you know they my OCD pretty much had, unfortunately, I imagine, permeated into every damn aspect of my shitty life. And I suppose it reached its peak last week, where I could barely um, be sure about pretty much anything I did. I just kept second guessing myself, pretty much, you know checking and double checking, triple checking, quadruple checking, whether I properly switched off lights and the door of the fridge, and pretty much just pretty much everything. Well, not exactly, but you get the picture. To put it short, whenever your OCD symptoms begin to you know well, allegedly starts to per- permeate and runs rampant in every aspect of your life. You just lost, you kind of you know lose touch with reality, to a somewhat terrifying degree. Um, and during the peak of my OCD episode, it basically took me nearly 30 minutes or 25 minutes to just order a single takeaway meal from the Meituan app, and it just left me, it made me keep um, double checking, whether they attempted to trick me into buying something, or opting into something or some sort of their products or services I did not want, or I should say I do not want. you know, there are plenty of pitfalls and traps, in China, particularly you know on the internet, on well, more specifically on throughout their smartphone apps. They can more often than not trap you into debts, loans, whether legal or illicit, blah blah blah. They are just you have to keep a constant watch of your back, and by looking over your shoulders here and there. And probably that has become a usual daily norm throughout the whole world, to a varying um, e- extent, I suppose. Even in the West, in the you know quote unquote less dangerous, less hostile, more friendly countries, in the Western world, say even in Belgium or in Switzerland, you might also have to, you know, constantly keep your eyes peeled, both online and offline, if you catch my drift. And on the other hand, yes, but yeah, the silver lining is, I took just a single dose of a single dose, a single capsule, a couple, a single dose, a single capsule of antidepressant, namely paras. I don't recall the name, but namely a sort of SSRI, aka selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Yeah, for for one dose only, and yes, it kind of helped mitigate my OCD. I'd say roughly maybe by 20 to 30%. Yeah, I won't say you know I won't say it helped greatly or even nor marginally, but somewhat fairly. That's the most precise sort of estimation of its effectiveness on me on that day, on that single instance of ingesting it, several days ago. I can make to you guys, but yeah, um, and just about a day ago, I thought I was actually about to kick my bucket, really, I wasn't really joking, but yes, the um perhaps in combination with the anxiety attacks episode and the allegedly di- diagnosed mitral regurgitation in me, they once they they once they get triggered simultaneously, it can you know um make me, or I should say it might, or I should say it can sort of create a and terrifying illusion, even hallucination, that I could just die by a heart attack. While but it wasn't really, probably it wasn't really a heart attack, but it surely felt as if um I was about to kick my sorry bucket, the day before, But yes, I took a bit, and to as a countermeasure, I took about half dose of the lorazepam, which treats anxiety and anxiety or severe anxiety disorders. And yes, it did help. At least it did. Calm my mind and and soothed the fear, the panic. And yes, and then I fell asleep at around 6 8, no 7 to 8 a.m. in the morning. Yes. um and then yes, and then I yes, yesterday night I pretty much fapped. I beat my meat for the whole night. Or I should say I wanked the whole night. And then I stayed up until around 12 p.m. And yes, I did have my breakfast. But I skipped the my lunch. Yes, and not you know both in order to save money and to just um kill the chance of getting fat. Though yes, I can pretty much I can almost 100% guarantee or make such a promise to you guys that I will never get fat. Um, that's the least thing, the least thing I will ever do. The last thing that I will ever do, which means I will never get fat. You can take, that you can take it to the bank. But yeah, but then yeah, I got up at around um yeah 6:30 or 7:30 p.m. at local Beijing time, and then I kind of then I browsed YouTube, and I worked on some other side projects of mine on my laptop computer. And then I then dipped around with my iPad on YouTube, for a moment, for a bit, while I had while I hesitated whether I should have something for dinner. And then eventually I gave in to the urge of hunger. And then yeah, I bought some Chinese ramen, with a little bit of beef and with some tofu and yeah, and blah blah blah. And then yeah, and then yes, I then dubbed more with YouTube after I you know yeah, after I applied some garlic to my both sides of my itchy crouch, as a natural remedy. And then I then yeah dubbed dubbed around on YouTube, but still can't still couldn't fall fall asleep. So here I am. Yeah, that's basically the whole whereabouts, the whole story on how I got here tonight with you guys on YouTube here again, filming another video. Though with my archaic iPad, quite rarely. Since I didn't really, well, since I'm initiating another sort of proper filming session um, with my laptop will kind of, necessitate me going to the bathroom and splash some cold water, some cold H2O on my face, and then having to experience, all those other sorts of OCD symptoms, characterized by having to wash my face and my hands over and over, that will, even cause even more hassle and trouble and frustration, and that they will also be more time, not exactly time wasting, but time consuming, to just splash some cold water onto my face, and then having to wash my hands over and my face and hands over and over, and then wipe my face and hands with a towel and over and over, just to film another sort of proper video in front and with my laptop. But instead, I just, yeah, for the sake of convenience and efficiency, I filmed this filming session with my archaic iPad, and that marked the very first video of mine in year 2025. Yeah, so after this, after I conclude this filming session, I will try to maybe do a bit of do some light work and see how that may how that um, could help with draining some of my remaining mental energy, and therefore enabling me to fall asleep or hibernate more easily. But other than that, yeah, there's, though it's the same year, yes, it is the same year, and the silver lining is that I do have some targets and goals set, and I kind of know how to do them, how to get to them, how to actualize them. Though I may not necessarily have the power to fulfill all of them, but rest assured, I will give it my best. See where it can take me and how far it can take me. Um, so maybe just maybe I may come to a a sort of a compromise, or a a more specifically a decision of sort of some sort of concession to remain in Thailand, maybe just for a month to test the water and see, how that can change my life, for the better, see how much that can change my life, see to what extent it can change my life for the better by creating or generating more momentum, that sort of thing, in terms of personal development or self-improvement. You get the you know the drill. But other than that, yeah, it's yes, the same year, still the same location of residence and operation, though with a bit some new goals, new plans of actions, and yes, I did take some new actions, though they did not really yield a, satisfactory result or outcome, like I said. But yeah, in any regards, in any event, in case I kicked, in case a stroke or a heart attack or a cardiac um, arrest kills me and makes this my final video. Um, yes, you know, lest in case this becomes my final word, my last word. Yeah, despite the hardships and the challenges I have undergone and suffered from, I have had a good ride. By trying my best, I have had an epic battle and strife. Um, I do not regret it. Though I still, you know, though I still kind of carry a bit of guilty conscience, for having done something wrong during my foolish youths, by scamming some people, you know. But in of that, I can kind of proudly say that I have repented of those sins, um, completely. Um, yeah, but yeah, I just wish I could make more money, and then um, then compensate them for good, you know. But yeah, it's just that life has become increasingly vicious, malicious, and hostile. I wish I had more strength and power, to make more money. To you know, to pay for my past sins. Um, to redeem my past sins. But yeah, that can diving into another diving into another topic like that can branch into more you know can branch into more creeps. It can make this video even more lengthy and tedious to watch. Hence, I will not go any deeper into those, during this filming session. So yeah, in any regards, like I said, thank you very much for watching and listening to my venting during this insomnia. Um, and yeah, even now, I still have some bit of tightness around the left part of my chest, where the my more often than not, it makes me feel as if my shirt gets sticked onto my you know the the corresponding part of my left chest while I lie down in bed trying to hibernate. And but still, nevertheless, I believe I have still got a few tricks up my sleeves. Yes, I believe I've still got a few tricks up my sleeves, and let's see what happens next. Though I don't really, look forward to everything that will happen next, but yeah, nevertheless, I will still say, let's see what happens next. Anyway, in any regards, thank you again for watching and listening. Um, let's let's hope this year, 2025, will bring us more, more fun, if not joy or happiness, or money, or success. So, yeah, thank you. And if God's still willing, see you around on YouTube. Bye.